Today is September the 19th, 2009. And tonight we're going to do an update on microchip technology. And the reason being is that it's here and it's here to stay, and a lot of research is being done on this technology. Now, just for a person who may have not listened to any discussion about this, there's been a lot of improvement in the speed of technology in the microchip, and also in the amount of information that can be stored in it. The definition of a microchip implant is a small electronic circuit which is designed to be implanted into the body. And the circuit is usually covered in a housing which will not react with the body or break down, with use protecting the chip inside for the lifetime of the wearer. Now, there's a wide variety of information that can be encoded on the microchip, ranging from data about allergies to identifying information. Microchip implants have not been used without controversy, especially among Christians and those who are concerned about the potential for governmental tracking of human beings. We know that this all started with animal tracking, animal security and pets, and now it's being converted over to humans. Now, there's a lot of grocery stores here in Kansas City that have these microchip implants that you can get that are related to biomedical, that is specific to and it's primarily fingerprint biomed. You give the grocery your fingerprint, and then you can use your fingerprint to buy your groceries. Your fingerprint is different than any other fingerprint of any other person on the planet. Now, microchip in Europe is just taking over by the storm. In fact, in the European Union, microchip implants now meet ISO standards, which is the industry standards for efficiency and that kind of thing. Now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to promote microchip implants as a good thing. Medical people are promoting it to people who have specific diseases like allergies and diabetes and heart problems, to put that information on the microchip implant so that if you are found, they can scan that information and find out all about your medical history. And there's a lot of future trends that are going on with RFID technology. Like we said, they were first used in animals, and an animal microchip implant can be used in a pet to ensure that the animal can be identified even if it loses its collar and its tags. So you would think that would make humans raise their eyebrows. Because if you lose your wedding ring and you lose your Social Security number and your wallet, well, you can still have all the information on your implant. Now, microchips can be used to identify and manage livestock, cattle. Many livestock now have microchip implants. And large corporations that manage a large number of livestock, the first thing they do is implant all their livestock with microchip technology. And this also includes animals like racehorses. Now, like I said, human microchips currently are being used in a wide variety of ways for medical use and have been released by several companies. Some researchers have also experimented with microchip implants which interact with the environment, such as a chip which communicates with a computer to turn the lights on and off. Yeah. The guy has it right under his skin, and it's set up so that it'll turn his home computer off at a certain time. Or it might raise his garage door before he gets home. Or it might turn his stove on at home, or so his roast is done on time, whatever. Now, whether in a human or in an animal, a microchip implant works in the same way. How big is a microchip implant? Well, the chip is about the size of a grain of rice. That's how small it is, a grain of rice. Now, typically it's equipped with what is called an RFID technology using a reader which is held over the side of the implant. Someone can gather the information on the chip. Some can be written to by a reader-writer, while others must be programmed before insertion. Some are encoded so that the information on the chip is secure, encoded with a special number. I was going through the drive-thru of my bank ATM, and I love the little thing it says, "Please enter your secret number." Okay, many are designed to be inserted with a large needle, which injects the microchip under the skin. And this has been being done for years with veterinarians, with animals. And so from a biological standpoint, one of the major problems with the microchip implant is that it is difficult to build chips which will remain stable in the body for a prolonged period of time. Sometimes chips are rejected by the body. In other cases, they are corroded by body fluids, sweat, and that kind of thing, perspiration. Well, some of the implants they're actually putting under the skin are encased with glass. Mm-hmm. Well, if that glass breaks, that could really involve some potentially bad health risks for the person that's got glass under their skin. Biomedical researchers have worked on a number of microchip implant designs which are designed to address these problems. They're trying to get rid of all these issues so that everybody can be chipped. Remember the interview that was with David Rockefeller where he said it was the goal of the Illuminati to get everybody chipped. Now, ethicists, people who are strong on ethics, have also expressed concerns about microchip implants. Some of these concerns revolve around the insecurity of the RFID technology, with the potential for the harvesting of personal data from implants with the use of a device which can gather information from RFID transmitters. They have readers now that can read from significant distances away. They even have debit and credit card readers that waitresses are on their way back to taking your sales ticket are reading so they can get your private information so they can milk or ding your credit or debit card out off of your from your checking account or your debit account. People have expressed concern that microchipping of humans is an ethically questionable practice which could set the stage for government monitoring or other potential sinister uses which have not been specified. Folks, how in the world can you listen to what I've been talking about without thinking about the passage in Revelation where it says they will not be able to buy or sell save those that have the mark of the beast or the number of his name. How would John on the Isle of Patmos known about the technology that would come over 2,000 years later, and he predicted that a person would not even be able to eat, buy or sell, conduct any kind of business if they did not have a special mark and a number? Now, a lot of people say, oh, that has nothing to do with microchip technology. Well, all I got to say, folks, is if you really believe that, then check your brain in at the door, please. Just check your brain in at the door. Because Satan and the Illuminati and all of his imps, why are they spending millions and millions and millions of dollars on this technology? If this did not have some value for to control the planet. Now, I think that a lot of people think, well, Larry's just gone off the deep end. He sounds like Alex Jones, and he's struggling. He's stretching at straws or whatever. Well, do you know that under the new health care bill, there is a proposal that would require an implantable microchip? Did you know that? Under the current health care bill, they want everyone to be chipped so that they will have all their medical history. Okay? Now, even Obama supporters are starting to raise their eyebrows at some of this stuff. Now, I'm going to read you, though. Obama Health Care Bill under Class 2, Paragraph 1, Section B specifically includes a Class 2 device that is implantable. Then on page 1004 it describes what the term data means in the paragraph of 1 section B. 14b in this paragraph, the term data refers to in 15 information respecting the device described in paragraph 1, including claims data, patient survey data, standardized analytic files that allow for the pooling and analysis of data from data environments, electronic health records, and any other data deemed appropriate by the Secretary of Health. What exactly is the Class 2 device that's implantable? Well, the Class 2 device is approved by the FDA. It's an implantable radio frequency transponder system for patient identification and health systems. The purpose of this microchip implantable device is to collect data in medical patients, such as claims, data, patient survey, and all that stuff. This sort of device would be implanted in the majority of people who opt to be covered by the public health care option. And wouldn't you know, they're going to start with the people that they're demanding that can't afford to get private insurance. Mm-hmm. They're going to first go after you. Okay? With the reform of the private insurance companies who charge outrageous rates, many people will switch their coverage to a more affordable insurance plan. This means the number of people who choose the public option will increase. This also means the number of people chipped will be plentiful as well. The adults who choose to have a chipped implant are, they say, the lucky ones. Children who are born in the United States at the time of birth is not otherwise covered under acceptable coverage will be qualified and placed into the CHIP or Children's Health Insurance Program. What a convenient name. With a name like chip, it would seem consistent to have the chip implanted into a child. Folks, do you see where this is going? This is the ultimate control issue. This is exactly the kind of thing that science fiction and novels used to talk about. This sounds like beam me up, Scotty. This sounds like Spock. This sounds like Enterprise stuff. But this is reality. This is where we're at. This is in the new health bill that everybody that's going to take the public option has to have a microchip implantable chip. Now, I know a lot of people don't believe this, but that is absolutely correct. People say, well, that has nothing to do with the mark of the beast. I didn't say it did, but it's certainly a start, isn't it not?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it a start? They always say, well, this is for your protection. This is so that we can give you better coverage. You know, what does it say in Revelation 13:16 through 18 in the King James Version of the Bible? What is it written there? It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For is the number of a man, and his number is 666. If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God. You know, we already live in an age which no man may buy or sell without their Social Security number. We know that. What about the barcodes? You know, people say that has nothing to do with the mark of the beast. You know what, folks? Don't you understand? They start out small, and now we're down to the microchip implant right under the skin. That's where it's at. And you know, so whatever you do, when you are told that you need to be microchipped if you're going to get health insurance coverage, I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to accept it. Make no mistake, okay? It's the first step in programming people into receiving the mark. I believe that. You know, if you want to accept it, go ahead. But you know what? They want to take you one step at a time, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, now there have been many others that have said that this is the beginning of the fulfillment of prophecy right before our eyes. You know? And if you don't want to think that it has anything to do with it, I've had people really give me a hard time because I'm even talking about it. This is reality. This is the one of the latest developments. The Food and Drug Administration has ruled that the microchip, the implant, is the way to go. They've ruled that. They've already made a ruling of that, okay? And so if you want to try to say, well, you know, if the Food and Drug Administration has approved it for health purposes, if they've given their okay on it, then that ought to tell you that they're getting right there to it. Now, one of the major corporations that's been involved in this microchip technology is Verichip. Now, IBM employee, a former IBM employee, the highly publicized mandatory switch from analog to digital television is mainly being done to free up analog frequencies and make room for scanners used to read implantable RFID microchips and track people and products throughout the world. So while the American people, especially those in Texas and other busy border states, have been inundated lately with news reports advising them to hurry and get their expensive passports, enhanced driver's license, passport cards, and other chipped or otherwise trackable identification devices, they are being forced to own this digital television connection, which has been hidden from the American people. There's your reason they're pushing this so strongly. Believe me. And so this Microchip technology, it's there. It's being utilized. It's the size of a rice. The new RFID chips have 128-bit of ROM for storing a unique 38-digit number. Hitachi's chips are already in production. So this is not. This is. Many are getting these implanted under their skin. In 2007, January 11th, they started making actual microchip technology for people under the federally supported National Animal Identification System. Digital tags are expected to be affixed to over 40 million farm animals, and that was in 2007. But now the focus is on people and on corporations. Many corporations are requiring that people that belong to their corporation have to be chipped for security purposes. And you cannot work for a corporation if you don't get a chip. Okay? McGrath's company, which is Digital Angel, does nearly $60 million in annual sales and is selling millions of chips. Microchip is preparing for widespread marketing of its people chips. So we're seeing that this is really starting to take off here. And people tags are a lot more, people chips are a lot more profitable than animal tags. That's where everybody's focusing on. And you know what they say now? The big thing is to get the microchips is because you want to be able to prevent your child from being kidnapped. And so it will protect newborns, babies, and their parents to prevent kidnappers. And also it's good for elderly people in nursing homes who have Alzheimer's diseases. See where they start? Well, these businesses, these corporations, are starting to compel people to have a chip. Not only requiring them to get microchipped or they cannot belong to a important company. Okay, it says a person not wearing a microchip might be similar to not having a bank ATM card. Well, isn't that something? Or you might not be able to get hospital care. Or you might not be able to... Doesn't this sound like you won't be able to buy or sell?
You know what I think the mark is? Social Security card.
Well, the Social Security card has been around for years.
You don't think it would turn into the mark?
Well, it could. They could
put a barcode on there.
They could link it to a microchip.
Yeah.
It says here that Dr. Kildee says that the U.S. has been moving in the direction and plans are underway to microchip every newborn in the United States and Europe. Man. In Sweden, Prime Minister Palme gave permission in 1973 to implant prisoners. That's another thing. They're going to implant prisoners.
Do you actually believe this stuff?
Well, it doesn't matter whether I believe it or not. It's a fact.
Yeah.
It's a fact. This is happening. Are you prepared to live in a world in which every newborn baby is microchipped? And finally, are you ready to have you and every move tracked, recorded, and placed in Big Brother's data bank? It's another way of mind control technology. Implanted human beings can be followed anywhere. Their brain functions can be remotely monitored by supercomputers and even altered through the changing of frequencies. Guinea pigs in secret experiments have included prisoners, soldiers, mental patients, handicapped children, deaf and blind people, homosexuals, single women, the elderly, school children, and any group of people considered marginal by the elite. Now, today's microchip operate by means of low-frequency radio waves that target them. When a 5 micromillimeter microchip, the diameter of a strand of hair is 50 micrometers, is placed in an optical nerve of the eye, it draws neural impulses from the brain that embodies the experiences, smells, sights, and voices of the implanted person. Once transferred and stored in a computer, these neural impulses can be projected back to the person's brain via the microchip. Using an RMS, a land-based computer, operator can send electromagnetic messages to the nervous system affecting the performance of that person. These people can be induced to see hallucinations and to hear voices in their heads. Every thought, reaction, hearing, and visual observation causes a certain neurological potential spikes and patterns in the brain and electromagnetic fields which can now be decoded into thoughts, pictures, and voices. And these electromagnetic stimulations can therefore change a person's brainwaves and cause painful muscular cramps experienced as torture. Well, you know, that's where it's going, folks. You know. So why have I given you an update on what's going on with current microchip technology? Why have I spent a whole message on it? Just to make people aware of the times that we're living in, okay, and also I think that it's cognizant that we take a stand against this kind of thing. And, you know, incrementally, they want to get everyone to accept the idea, all the positive aspects of this technology. And then, once they've got them, just like they did start with the debit card, now over 80% of Americans have a debit card, including yours truly. You know, the convenience aspect of it. And just think, why do you think so many people are having their identity stolen? Well, they want everyone to have their identity stolen, so they'll be forced to take a microchip. Because that's the best way to sell identity theft protection, is through a implantable microchip. Because nobody can steal that from you. But you know what? I've been told that there have been microchips stolen from people, where they have caused the person to faint and cut the microchip out of the person's skin and taken it. So there's nothing that's totally secure on this cursed world. Somebody wants to get your information, they're going to get it if that means killing you and committing surgery and cutting it out of you. This is not to scare anybody. This is not to promote fear. This is really just to promote education about our technological advances in our society and where it's taking us. And I hope that this brief update will be helpful in your analysis of the direction of, you know, and look, whenever Satan is loosed, you know, those who ultimately do not take the mark of the beast, whatever it is, are going to be persecuted and killed. They're not going to be able to buy or sell. They're going to be excommunicated from society. And so, folks, if you believe the Bible, if you don't believe the Bible, you know, throw it in the trash and try to explain it away and say it all happened in 70 AD. Just go ahead and do that. But, you know, I just read you very comprehensive report of what's going on right now today in 2009 in our society with RFID technology and microchip implants. And for the primary reason of making you realize that I believe we're getting very close to entering a time of tribulation that the world has never seen. That's my particular view, and people totally disagree with me. Many people do, which they have every right to do that. But I think that anybody that sees what's going on in our society right now, whenever the president of our country proposes a bill that requires, if you're going to get health insurance, that you have to have an implantable microchip, that you have to check your brains in at the door not to see the connecting link between that and what's coming down the road. Father, we pray that you would take this discussion and use it to get people's attention and to go back to your word and recognize that you are the only one that we can go to for hope in these last days. We ask this in Christ's name. Amen.